Take the baby and rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month on the final day. And that's not acceptable.
And Judy on Facebook, when Donald Trump had the courage to call out the voter fraud, dead people voting, and the DNC busing ineligible people from state to state to vote illegally is wrong, and it needs to be cleaned up.
That are registered to vote. Millions. This isn't coming from me. This is coming from Pew Report and other places. Millions of people that are registered to vote that shouldn't be registered to vote.
Bill on Twitter says when Hillary told the world the nuclear response time.
The bottom line on nuclear weapons is that when the president gives the order, it must be followed. There's about 4 minutes between the order being given and the people responsible for launching nuclear weapons to do so.
And let's keep talking about the final debate. Who do you think won? Log on to Fox and Friends First Facebook page, live debate after the show.
Fox and Friends Live from Vegas starts right now.
Bye.
We have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out. That was a great pivot off the fact that she wants open borders, okay? How did we get on to Putin?
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
But
you don't get anything done. How she's going to get rid of ISIS? She's going to get rid of nobody.
There is a lot of very good work.
And it's said some horrible things about you. And boy, was he right. He's such a nasty one. What I keep you in suspense. Wait till you see what happens in the coming years. Lots of luck, Hillary. Thanks a lot for doing a great job.
Is the Fox and Friends program. And Ainsley and Brian, during the debate, at the conclusion of the debate last night, all I could think about was, I wonder whether or not this beautiful facility, the MGM Grand, was built with Chinese steel.
Right, absolutely.
No.
And by the way, just a quick note, I don't want to take everyone down, but if you're coming down, if you're in the MGM and you're coming down to go swimming, there's no lifeguard. All right, you saw that seat was empty.
Geraldo's not up there this morning?
Right, Geraldo's not up there.
He's not there today?
Exactly. So, and for no synchronized swimmers to save you.
Right. Well, you know what? In Las Vegas, a lot of people gamble.
I thought
you're going to go swimming, you're gambling.
I remember that moment last night when she was saying, you built your casinos with steel from other countries. And he said, well, you were a senator. Why didn't you change that? It was cheaper to buy from another country. Sure. They both had really good, I thought they had a good performance, both of them last night. People are saying, no one's minds were really changed. Let us know what you think. Send us your emails.
It's so hard to generalize. I mean, from walking to the casino, getting the people's poll, from the spin part electric. But the big picture is, should we be looking at them? After all, they were hacked by an international organization. Clearly, the Clinton camp was, let's not talk about what's in them. Right. Let's pivot away.
It wasn't just a debate. It was a dodge. You knew that she was prepped. As soon as Chris Wallace brings up WikiLeaks, just start talking about Putin, who is Trump's pal. Well, you know what? She did it exactly that way. Chris Wallace originally asked about, okay, WikiLeaks says Mrs. Clinton, you're for open borders. And then she took the dodge and she said, well, that's if you would have read the next line, you would have known it was about energy production. And then she
Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, no kidding. Watch. Here it is if you missed it.
But you are very clearly quoting from WikiLeaks. And what's really important about WikiLeaks is that the Russian government has engaged in espionage against Americans. This has come from the highest levels of the Russian government, clearly from Putin himself, in an effort, as 17 of our intelligence agencies have confirmed, to influence our election. Finally, will Donald Trump admit and condemn that the Russians are doing this?
That was a great pivot off the fact that she wants open borders, okay? How did we get on to Putin? He wants open borders. People are going to pour into our country. People are going to come in from Syria. She wants 550% more people than Barack Obama. And he has thousands and thousands of people. They have no idea where they come from. And you see, we are going to stop radical Islamic terrorism in this country. She won't even mention the words, and neither will President Obama. So I just want to tell you, she wants open borders.
So she's painting the picture, too, that he's best friends with Vladimir Putin. And he said last night, I've never met the guy. I'm not best friends with him. Of course, I condemn Russia.
If it's going to say something nice, okay.
But he said he's not my best friend. You name it, though, he has outsmarted her.
Right. A couple of things. The biggest fear of any voter is, I'm going to vote for somebody, but they actually not only don't mean with their trade organizations. You might be for their international trade, like a Republican like Governor Kasich, but she's saying, I'm not for it. Now, behind the scenes, she's telling everyone it's a gold standard. She's for being tough on the border, but behind the scenes, she's saying, my dream is open borders, and that becomes transparent. So you can't, what do we believe? The Hillary that opens up behind the scenes or the one that opens up behind the podium? And her only answer is, those emails should not be public.
Sure.
That should make the voter feel good.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, ultimately, though, and throughout the program, we'd like to hear from you who you thought won or lost. I think Trump seemed more presidential. The temperament was even. And in addition to that, he stuck to his core issues, and one of them, of course, is immigration. He doubled down last night on the promise to build a wall, and then Hillary inserted about, well, if you take his plan, you're going to rip families apart. Watch.
Hillary wants to give amnesty. She wants to have open borders. I was up in New Hampshire the other day. The biggest complaint they have, it's with all of the problems going on in the world, many of the problems caused by Hillary Clinton and by Barack Obama, all of the problems, their single biggest problem is heroin. We have to have strong borders. We need the wall. The Border Patrol, ICE, they all want the wall. We stop the drugs. We shore up the border. One of my first acts will be to get all of the drug lords, all of the bad ones. And once the border is secured, at a later date, we'll make a determination as to the rest. But we have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
I don't want to rip families apart. Idea that would rip our country apart. He started his campaign back.
Under Obama, millions of people have been moved out of this country. They've been deported. She doesn't want to say that, but that's what's happened, and that's what's happened big league. As far as moving these people out and we either have a country or we don't. Very unfair that somebody runs across the border, becomes a citizen. Under her plan, you have open borders.
Regarding illegals, it was interesting. One of the other WikiLeaks dumps yesterday revealed that John Podesta, her chairman of the campaign, said that they would like to see illegals be able to vote if they have a driver's license, which, is against the law currently.
Well, they want that because they want more votes. I'm glad that he mentioned the heroin issue, because when I have been covering for the last few years spring break down in Panama City, and the cops down there say heroin is such a big problem.
Because it's so
Millennials,
cheap.
I guess so.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, not that we're all that old, but that wasn't an issue. Heroin was not, that was just a drug that you couldn't get or didn't exist anymore. But now all the millennials are saying that is rampant now.
Everyone, that's a good point. The other thing is the word hombre is trending. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Hombre.
Which is so
people
weird,
say, well, but they
it just
say,
means man.
Well, what they're said is, well, why are you indicating that perhaps the bad people are Spanish or Hispanic? But I just think it's an expression in everyday language. I think that is something that people are jumping on. And next thing you know, every network outside hour says, let's just focus on hombre. Yeah. Let's just focus on the fact that Donald Trump said at the end, I don't know if I'm going to concede the election if it doesn't go my way. And that becomes overwhelming. But I thought this is the first time Donald Trump got to work on a signature issue and back up the fact that he is very proud that he wants to build a wall, secure the borders. And he modified saying to maybe 60 million people, I'm not looking to rip families apart. We'll deal with that later. Let's first secure the border.
Let's get the criminals out.
Yeah, let's get the criminals out and secure the border.
It's interesting that you say that about the bad hombres, because when you're in the spin room, you can kind of judge if the public is going to like it. Everyone laughed. No one thought it was a big deal. People laughed.
The media.
Yeah, the media was laughing.
If you have watched some of his events, and we've televised them on the Fox News channel, he has used that expression a number of times. Hombre, translated, simply means man.
Well, he's talking about the border.
Right.
Mexico,
well, I know.
So I understand.
And Steve, my choice to take German has hurt me again, because I did not know what hombre. I took German in high school. It's killing me.
Meanwhile, Chris Wallace, who, by the way, I think we can all agree, was the big winner last night. He was fantastic.
He did a great job.
Brent Bozell over at Media Research Center gave him an A+. He said he was fair to both, same number of hard questions, and he stayed out of the way. The perfect moderator. There's Chris Wallace right there. All right, Chris, things did pivot to the Clinton Foundation. And you know what? Chris Wallace pressed Hillary on her charity, and Trump demanded she return money from repressive regimes. This was critical. Okay, so he puts out, will you promise to give back the money? She won't do that. She didn't answer that. She dodged. Watch.
Secretary Clinton, during your 2009 Senate confirmation hearing, you promised to avoid even the appearance of a conflict of interest with your dealing with the Clinton Foundation while you were Secretary of State. But emails show that donors got special access to you. Can you really say that you kept your pledge to that Senate committee? And why isn't what happened and what went on between you and the Clinton Foundation, why isn't it what Mr. Trump calls pay to play?
Well, everything I did as Secretary of State was in furtherance of our country's interests and our values. The State Department has said that. I think that's been proven. But I am happy. In fact, I'm thrilled to talk about the Clinton Foundation. We have made environments and
respectfully, this is an open discussion.
Well, it is an open discussion.
I understand. And the specific question went to pay for play. Do you want to talk about that?
But there is no evidence.
I'd like to ask you right now, why don't you give back the money that you've taken from certain countries that treat certain groups of people so horribly? Why don't you give back the money? I think it would be a great gesture.
Well,
because she takes a tremendous amount of money, and you take a look at the people of Haiti. I was at a little Haiti the other day in Florida, and I want to tell you, they hate the Clintons.
Okay, so he made it very clear. Will the Clinton Foundation give back the money from regimes and governments that repress women and kill gays? Okay. Those are two areas that you would think that would be easy. Just say, okay, we'll give the money back. Of course, they don't want to give the money back. And that's, if you're paying attention, that seems to be a problem.
Speaking of money, there was a line in there last night, and I don't know if anyone's talking about this. He said when you were Secretary of State, $6 billion went missing. And she said that's been debunked. That's not true. I'm curious to find out what the facts are.
Yeah, can we work on that? I got to add a couple other things. Real quick, on the Clinton Foundation, she's on the record now saying that 90% goes to causes. There's going to be a huge push to find out what exactly the Clinton Foundation is doing.
You won't find it because the rules do not, she does not have to itemize everything. That's what that's the research
they're going to really, she laid it out there. We're going to find out where that money's going. And if it is, congratulations. But if it isn't, game on.
Well, listen, there's a reason why Charity Navigator for years did not rate the Clinton Foundation, because it was too hard to track. So anyway,
here's what's coming up.
Coming up. Here's someone that we haven't heard from in a while, Sarah Palin. She was inside the spin room last night. Stick around to hear what she said to me about the election. It's pretty fascinating.
That's right. And another